Now, let's get into the video. First, let's be clear about one thing. USCIS does not announce reforms through leaks in the way people imagine. Major changes come through published rules, Federal Register notices, budget justifications, congressional testimony, and internal operational updates that later become public. And as of December 2025, several of those signals are already visible. One of the biggest confirmed changes heading into 2026 is cost and access. USCIS has already finalized fee increases that take effect in early 2026, and this is not speculation. These fee adjustments were published publicly and are tied to inflation, staffing costs, and technology upgrades. What this tells us is that USCIS is preparing for higher application volume management, not fewer filings. Historically, when fees rise, the agency also tightens intake review, rejects incomplete filings faster, and reduces discretionary corrections. That pattern has already been visible in late 2025 and is expected to continue. Another confirmed shift is stricter front-end screening. USCIS leadership has openly discussed moving more decision-making to the earliest stages of a case. That means more denials at intake when documents are missing, outdated, or inconsistent, and fewer opportunities to fix mistakes later through requests for evidence. This is not a rumor. Applicants are already seeing this in I-485, I-130, I-765, and employment-based filings. Going into 2026, the expectation inside the agency is faster decisions, but also harsher consequences for errors. Biometrics expansion is another area where facts matter. DHS has already published proposed rules allowing broader use of biometrics for immigration benefits, not just for applicants, but also for certain sponsors and associated individuals. While not all parts of this proposal are active yet, USCIS has begun preparing operationally. That means more fingerprint appointments, more identity verification steps, and potentially longer security-related pauses, even when a case is otherwise approvable. Now, let's talk about digital enforcement, which is one of the least discussed but most important reforms. USCIS, DHS, and other federal agencies are increasing system-to-system data sharing. Tax records, travel history, address changes, and immigration filings are being cross-checked more aggressively than in previous years. This is not new in concept, but it is new in scale. For immigrants, this means inconsistencies that once went unnoticed are now far more likely to trigger delays, interviews, or denials. Family-based immigration is also entering a more documentation-heavy phase. USCIS officials have repeatedly stated that fraud prevention in marriage-based and family-based cases is a priority. As a result, officers are being trained to scrutinize relationship evidence more closely and apply uniform standards nationwide. In 2026, applicants should expect more detailed review of financial commingling, shared residence, communication history, and long-term intent, even in cases that would previously have been considered straightforward. Employment-based immigration is moving in a similar direction. DHS has openly discussed strengthening employer verification, wage validation, and job legitimacy checks. Site visits, employer audits, and cross-checks with Department of Labor data are expected to increase. This does not mean fewer approvals overall, but it does mean employers and applicants will need stronger, cleaner documentation to move smoothly through the system. Another area where rumors often get ahead of reality is green card revocation. As of December 2025, there is no new law or policy authorizing mass green card cancellations. So, what's happening now is, there's increased post-approval review, but really only in limited circumstances, especially when it comes to things like long absences, criminal issues, or misrepresentation. That distinction actually matters quite a bit. Lawful permanent residents aren't losing their status arbitrarily, but compliance expectations are definitely becoming stricter. Travel and re-entry are also, part of the 2026 preparation picture. CBP and USCIS are working together more closely these days, and travelers are noticing longer questioning at ports of entry when, records raise any flags. This is especially true for folks with pending applications, prior overstays, or really extended travel histories. Again, this isn't a brand new rule, but enforcement consistency is definitely increasing. So, where does the idea of a leak come from? Mostly from internal planning documents, budget language, and training guidance that immigration attorneys and advocacy groups see before any formal rollout. These documents, well, they don't create new law, but they definitely show direction. And honestly, the direction going into 2026 is clear, tighter review, faster decisions, less tolerance for mistakes, and more reliance on data systems rather than officer discretion. For immigrants, the preparation message is practical, not alarming. Make sure every filing is accurate and complete. Use current forms. Match tax records to immigration filings. Keep addresses updated. Maintain strong evidence. And, avoid assumptions that this will probably be fine in the system USCIS is building for 2026. Precision matters more than speed. December 2025 is not the beginning of a hidden crackdown. It's actually the continuation of a visible shift toward enforcement through process rather than enforcement through raids. And, that distinction is important. The system is becoming stricter, not through dramatic announcements, but through these quiet operational changes that affect outcomes. As we move closer to 2026, more official notices will be published, and we'll cover them as they are released. Until then, the best response to rumors is preparation, not fear. The information is already there. It just needs to be understood clearly. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It's important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We'll continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas such as B1 and B2, work visas like L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas.